And Mind Crypto here. I hope we're all having a wonderful day. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice, and none of the information provided in this video should ever be seen or taken as a signal to buy or to sell. Wow, what a great game last night. England beating the Netherlands. I was quite excited. I've watched every single game of the Euros. Looking forward to Sunday. But we look at the crypto bubbles as we usually do. We can see it's a bit of a mixed bag, and we see Quant down 2 ranks to 76, currently at $70. We dipped below that last night during the game. I think it's probably because all the Dutch were selling off. And as we can see, we have a market cap of $845 million. Volume very low at 9 million over the last 24 hours. And as we can see, we're down 0.1% in the hour, down 2.5% in the day, down 4.5% in the week. And as I usually say, this does not bother me. Now, if we look over at Crypto Quant, now this is very, very interesting. Now we're at the spot exchange here. This is what is available to actually buy. Now, the other day I called 268. We're down to 245,000 on spot. That's dropped. Absolutely, that's dropped thousands over the last couple of days. So very, very excited there. Now, if we look at the overall, including derivatives, we can see that's also dropped to 1556. So something going on. We are dropping, but price is not increasing. Now, if we look over here, I just noticed this transaction from Kraken to this wallet of 2,654 quant, $185,000, literally 3 hours ago. And if we look at this wallet, and we can see here, only holds quant, and literally 2 transactions here of 10 the test transaction. Then we've got this 2,654 quant. So people are buying in at these levels. They see this as a good price. Obviously, we're seeing lots of transactions. We're seeing the CB10 transactions to these private wallets that we believe possibly are licensed lockups. Now, I posted this yesterday because some news came out, and I see some connections here. So we got this 1.64 trillion asset manager, Goldman Sachs, to launch 3 tokenized projects this year. Now, why is this important? Now, a post I put out on June the 12th, and we can see here, Quant's 4th largest holder, UK Elwood Tech, raises $70 million from Goldman Sachs, Barclays, and others. Elwood Tech provides digital asset trading infrastructure to BlackRock and Bloomberg. And if we look here, we can see Goldman Sachs and Barclays invest in Elwood. Now, this is very, very important because of this feed that I put out again back in April, 2 weeks ago, on the 12th of April, 2024, 628,000 quant left Bitcoin Swiss, and 566,000 of that headed to UK-based Elwood Technologies, and 150,000 left to Copper.io, leaving 416,000. So Elwood Technologies, as we know, is a UK-based institutional custodian. And we can see here, institutional investors are increasingly looking for digital asset SaaS platforms to meet their robust regulatory standards akin to those in traditional finance. So securing FCA, which is really, really important. And we can also see this transaction was also made just before the RLN, the Regulated Liability Network announcement on the 15th of April. And obviously we know Quant and R3 will be utilized for that proof of concept. So this is the news. So we see this from Crypto News. This is very important. Goldman Sachs is set to launch 3 tokenization projects targeting institutional clients focusing on permissioned networks. So that's key. What does Quant do? Permissioned networks and private blockchains due to regulatory concerns. And who leads in regulatory concerns? I believe that's Quant, Gilbert, and TC 307 ISO standard. We can see Goldman Sachs is gearing up to introduce 3 significant tokenization projects by year end as part of its strategic expansion into digital assets, while its peers like BlackRock and Franklin Templeton have already entered the world of tokenization. Goldman Sachs is primarily focused on using permissioned networks due to regulatory concerns. Matthew McDermott, the banking institution's global head of digital assets, announced the initiatives emphasizing their focus on institutional clients. The nice thing about an institution of our size, there are differing views on crypto. McDermott told Fortune, the first to report the news. Goldman Sachs is increasingly involved in the crypto space from institutional standpoint. This includes trading cash-settled crypto derivatives for clients and participating in the ETF markets. We've continued to see, certainly this year, an uptick and a broadening in the product suite that clients would like to see available, he said. So project details, one of the tokenized projects will target the US fund sector, aiming to streamline asset management through blockchain-based tokenization. Another project will focus on the European debt markets, potentially revolutionizing debt issuance processes. The third project remains undisclosed, but is expected to contribute to Goldman Sachs' efforts to diversify and innovate within the digital asset space. Unlike BlackRock and Franklin Templeton, which favor public blockchain solutions, Goldman Sachs plans to utilize private blockchains due to regulatory consideration, which is really, really interesting considering where quant has headed and where quant has been for a very, very long time. This shows that a 150-year-old bank is cautious but proactive in navigating the evolving regulatory landscape. The move comes amidst a broader resurgence in cryptocurrency market catalyzed by recent developments in Bitcoin ETFs and growing institutional interest. Now, this is very, very interesting. As we've heard, they are looking at the regulatory standards, permissioned networks, private blockchains. What does Quant do? Connects them. So we also see here JP Morgan's Scott Lucas, Goldman Sachs, Oliver Harris, now Citi's David Cunningham using the same word, quoting inflection point. Now, I posted this back in October 2023. They were talking about it now. And David Cunningham says we are nearing the pivotal moment of financial change. Now, very, very interesting. Now, this word inflection point has been used a heck of a lot. Now, I found this video some while back via the Digital Assets Week, California 2023. And this is Oliver Harris, who's the digital head of Goldman Sachs. Now, listen to what he's actually saying here. It's really, really important. And this was a year ago. They've been in this for a very, very long time.
Follow-up question?
Yeah, great to be on this panel. Ollie Harris on the digital assets team at Goldman Sachs. And help lead our business here in the Americas.
And you know, I think one thing that's everybody knows about Goldman Sachs is that you're really good at timing the market. And in this specific market, it looks like you're quite early. And do you think you're quite early? Is it now the right time to deploy? Where do you see the horizon? What is the timeline that you see realistically for an institution such as Goldman Sachs to be able to be, in production with a tokenization solution?
Yeah, interesting. I'm hoping we're not too early. I would say, actually, I feel we're at this inflection point. So, like my previous employer, we started doing digital assets and exploring it back in 2014. And it was only 3 years ago that Goldman Sachs went and actually created like a dedicated digital assets team that then scaled from 4 people 3 years ago now to about 70. We obviously built our own digital assets platform and very active in the space. So I think hopefully now we're at this inflection point, and that's probably due to like 3 key reasons. One is the technology is now fit for purpose for enterprise. We're moving away from experimentation and proofs of concept, and I know yesterday there are many of the same themes on a few of those panels where now is the time to deliver commercial value. The second piece is education and awareness. There's still a ton of work to do, but I would say for all the stakeholders we work with, whether it's regulators, our clients, even within the company, like legal, compliance, engineering, risk, that level of awareness is at a point where we can actually make tangible outcomes and progress, which is non-trivial and obviously took many years. And I think the third piece is the actual opportunities themselves. I think we spent, as an industry, you could argue like nearly 10 years experimenting in blockchain now. And there's been a ton of different use cases like thrown at the wall where like, oh, we should do this, we should do that. To your point, as you open the panel, mainly from the origination side. And I think now the combination of we know what opportunities are commercially viable, the technology is fit for purpose, and the people and the governance are ready to go. I'm hoping the next 1 to 3 years we're going to move into like business creation and driving commercial outcomes.
Well, that's really, really interesting. Goldman, really good at timing the market. And he said there about the inflection point. The tech is ready and it's fit for purpose. So we are there. We are almost there. This was a year ago. Let's have a listen to this part of his speech.
Oli, you have a similar acronym.
Yeah, we do. It's funny. I was just reminiscing on your previous points. I was thinking like in terms of we sit in the business, so we actually, we're self-funded, and I think that's like a key point on like incentives. So everything we're doing, if it's not successful, I'll be brushing up my CV and looking for another job. So the time is definitely now, and yes, we shall get building. And I think so what are we actually doing? We're doing a lot, and I think the beauty of our team is we're firm-wide across the firm, and that means we can kind of unlock the benefits of the whole franchise, whether it's investment banking, global markets, asset management, and private wealth. And so as part of that, from a tokenization perspective, we've created what we call our digital assets platform, because we're great at marketing, which we call the DAP. And the key thing about that is it's modular, it's multi-product, and it's multi-jurisdictional, and it's in production and live already. And the benefit of that is we're really looking at the continuum of different assets, and just very simply, like, both on the liquid spectrum with all the benefits that Will was espousing, but also to other assets like alternatives and private markets, where again you think about the different benefits using the same technology, i.e. around creating secondary markets, the ability to redefine that asset potentially as like HQLAA, and then the ability to use that as collateral, and the collateral mobility piece is another really interesting play for us. So that's kind of what we've built. And again, to those points, we're doing this in partnership because it's a must-have. We have to work with partners in an open architecture fashion, and trying to be as best as possible technology agnostic, because again, the key part of this is giving us and our clients and users of the platform, optionality.
As he said there, open network, technology agnostic. Wow. So things are moving very, very quickly. And as we can see, Goldman Sachs moving on with tokenization. This video being a year ago, and now we're hearing the news of tokenization using permissioned networks, private blockchain, and we know what that means, and we know who works in that world, who specializes within the interoperability with those networks. So very, very interesting. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any further videos. All the best, and I'll catch you later.